Welcome to All Ball. Format unique, all access for all y'all. What the spiel like? Back full of elite athletes that wanna teach and it speaks to the streets, so it feel right. Marcus Liberty, a legend on and off the coat to give you what you need. Robert Reed is your co-host. Go. Yeah. Like and subscribe and follow like a crossover. Never know what might fall through this bitch tomorrow. So All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All I know is All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All Ball Chicago. All I know is All Ball Chicago.
Welcome to another edition of All Ball Chicago. I'm your co-host, Robert Bobby Reed, and I got the legend, the NBA veteran, the McDonald All-American, your host, Marcus, living in the building. What's up, Marcus?
What's up, my beautiful people?
You gonna break outside singing one of these times, boy.
Hey, it's times I wish I could sing, man, because man,
but they gave you hoop already. Now imagine you 6'8", you can hoop and can sing.
Man, I wish, dude. I wish.
You be like keep sweat around this one. No, that was Martell Jordan. He was 6'8". That's right. What's that shirt you got on, man? The League. What's that?
Oh, no, that's just something I'm doing here, man, locally, man. The League, that's me right there. That's me with that finger roll again. It's not that logo. It's that Liberty logo. You know what I'm saying? So
that's love. Yeah, that's cold.
Oh, no doubt, man. And eventually, man, I'm gonna have this so people can purchase these too. So, yeah, man, it's all love, man. But man, we got a great one today, bro. We got a great one today, man. And I'm excited. I know you excited, and I know a lot of our listeners, because that's why we put it out early, so we could get the comments and see. Man, we got a great one, man.
Yes, indeed. Randy Brown, lock. I remember I came home from school, played in the Pro-Am in 98 real quick, and he was playing in it. And I was just watching him, man. Man, that man was locking, man. I'm talking about the length. He's moving his feet. I was like, damn, I don't even think I can get my stuff off on him.
Yeah, man. He definitely was a player that loved to play defense, but his offensive skills were off the charts too now. That's what when we get him live, man, we talk to him about all that stuff. But man, let's talk about a little bit about some high school hoops, man, about the young fella who was living in Chicago, went out to California, and now he's doing his thing, one of the top basketball players in the country. And I think you know the kid.
Who is that?
Bailey.
Oh, yeah, Bailey, man. Yeah, he at UCLA.
He ain't there yet.
Yeah, but he going. He played with LeBron James and them teams. Let me tell you something, man. When I first saw him, I wasn't very impressed. I was like, he's just another overly hyped kid. Bro, when I saw him again, I was like, man, the maturity level, man, and then the respect that my sons was giving him, like, no, Dad, this kid is the truth. That boy tough, man.
Yeah, he's tough, man. Tough. He might, if he's not the number one point guard in the country, he's definitely top 3, top 2, top 3.
What is he, a lefty, right?
A lefty, man, and strong.
Yeah, man. He worked on it, man. And shout out to his mom. I saw her parading him around, trying to get him out there and in his corner, taking him everywhere, just trying to make sure her son got a really good look, man. And sometimes you got to do that. Because I think he committed to UCLA when Scott Skiles was there. Who was the coach there? Steve Alford.
I think so.
Yeah, Steve Alford was there, and he committed as a freshman in high school to go there. So he always had his sight on UCLA, man. So that's what's up, man. He's going to get a good run over there playing for the coach that's there now. So Bailey's tough.
Especially with the new rules too, man, with the likeness and imagery, you can get your money off that. He's in California and he signed with UCLA. Ooh, that's gonna be a big, nice little bag for him, man.
Before he even get to the league.
You hear what I just said? That's gonna be a big little bag for him. Both.
A big little bag. You could put $1 million check in a little bag. Right. But his mom, man, is a social media maven. She's well known. She got 1 million followers. So You know, she know how to do that, man. So she been marketing that boy forever. So shout out to the Bailey, shout out to his mom, and I seen single moms like that trying to get their sons.
And his name is Amari, right?
I think it's Damari.
Amari Bailey.
Amari Bailey.
Yeah.
Okay, Amari Bailey. Okay.
Yeah, and
right, because I know one was Nilmari Burnett, and that was the other kid, and his name was Amari. Okay, yeah.
And he's from Chicago, and why you think that's happening a lot, man? That kids from Chicago eventually, leaves. Yes, Eric Anthony just said Zamari that they leave Chicago and go somewhere else and be like flat out stars.
Chicago's a tough market. The Midwest is a tough market. And those West Coast teams don't recruit guys up here unless you're 6'8", number one player in the country and stuff like that. The little guards don't get those looks. So you get a chance to go down to California with that dog game, man, and you get all the likes of the West Coast, because you think about all those schools out there: Arizona, UNLV, Arizona State, UCLA, UNC. Those are some big programs, man. All we got up here, man, no knock on our programs, but the really powerhouse here are DePaul and University of Illinois and Wisconsin and Michigan. After that.
And I also think, Bob, it's just people just want to get away, now. They don't want to stay close to home. They want to go elsewhere, and make their name, elsewhere. There's a lot of kids that did it,
What was that other kid that went to Kansas and ended up going to the pros? You said he moved up here from Chicago. His parents moved him to North Carolina, and he ended up being a McDonald All-American, and he played for Kansas. Light-skinned kid. He was there with Charlie Moore.
Dodson?
Yeah, the guard.
Yeah, he's with the Bulls right now.
He's with the Bulls right now, but he was originally from Chicago, right?
He's from Chicago too.
And he moved out. And so Chicago, we breed them, but we can't keep them. It's kind of like our Chicago Bulls. We get all the good players and then they leave. So
and that happens down here too in Orlando. Orlando has they draft a lot of good players, and then it's almost like they're a farm system team for guys to go off and make money and play well elsewhere, but that's just the nature of it, man. But I just wanted to shout out to that young fella, Amari, because I watched that kid. I remember him when he was in, I want to say 6th grade, and I watched him play, and real respectful kid, talks, want to learn from the game. And I just told him I love watching him play, and he said, "Thank you, sir." And I follow him, and he writes back and all that, man. So it's awesome, man, to see that kid grow to what he is today.
Yeah, and also remain humble, because, his popularity is off the charts.
Right.
And I like the way that he's handling that. Same with Adam Miller. You know, my son was up there chopping it up at him with at the pro-am that they had on Harrison. And Jay was like, yeah, that's, because Jay played for Lance, so he was at a lot of those Morgan Park games. So he knew him, they knew each other. He was just like, man, Dad, man, that's a good kid, man. He was like, Adam Miller, man, they just don't know. You got to know him. To know him is to love him, And we just want the best for these young guys, man. Same for your nephew, man. I wish him a speedy recovery with his hand, and so he can be ready to roll for DePaul this year, man. I'm looking forward to them DePaul Blue Demons. New coaching staff, everything.
It's just going to be exciting, I think, all in all, because of what happened in the past. I'm talking about with the pandemic happening. I think people want sports back into their lives. It's something about sports that helps us become a little bit more happier.
I agree.
I just think we need that, man. So
I agree, man, 100%.
And your Bears, well, I said your Bears, but the Bears won the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, man. The Bears is they looking good. We're looking to make a Super Bowl run. I don't know if they're gonna start the kid Justin Fields. I don't know if they're gonna play him. I think they're probably trying to bring him along slowly. But hopefully, man, the Bears can be off and running. You see, the Patriots traded. They waived Cam Newton.
No, don't tell me that.
Yeah, they waived Cam Newton. They got the young quarterback in there, and they want to give him a shot. And honestly, Cam just after that last Super Bowl run, I don't know that he's able to come back again. He haven't been the same. You agree?
I think, man, with Cam, I think he came in running too much.
Mm-hmm.
First got into the league because he was a big quarterback. He was using his big body to run over people, and it just wears on you, man. The more you play in the league, it wears on you. So
yeah, those are black quarterbacks, man, and they got so much athleticism, but they forget that there's guys out there just as athletic,
right.
And that's what happened to RG3 and all those guys. So I would encourage, like my youngest son, he's 7, and he wants to play football. So he's playing football now. He wants to be Dak Prescott. So that's his nickname around the house, Dak. And when I say Dak to Park, he all smiles because he want to be a quarterback. But like I told him, I said, you got to be ready now. You're going to get hit hard. I don't care. I hit back. All right, let's go then. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go. But I'm looking forward to Randy Brown, man. I think back to his career and the things that he did for the Bulls and the way he kept his nose clean throughout Chicago. He's just a great guy, Lee.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's definitely a good dude, man. Like he definitely should be on someone's bench, giving back, coaching. So I think he will get that opportunity again to do just that. But I want to switch something right quick, man. Like,
okay,
I want our listeners to chime in too, because most of our listeners play some kind of sport. Before you going into that, that arena, that preparation, what you listening to in your ear? Like, I know when I was playing in high school, hip hop wasn't as big, so we was listening to what?
House music, right? Right.
House music. So we got to have these big old headphones because they didn't have the little old headphones, these little pods and stuff that goes in your ear now. So we had I think it was the JBLs back then, man. So big old headphones like we have on now. And we jamming, man. House music, man. Steve Silk Hurley, I'm listening to Farley. I'm listening, man, to them guys. Jack my body, Jack.
You go out there and be hyped to the mug, boy.
So what was some of our listeners listening to? Talk to us. We'd love to share some of that online, live right now. What you listening to? And what kind of candy popping in your mouth too?
Mug had them doggone wine candies right here. Right. Just sit right here, that wine candy.
Wine candy was terrible, man. Terrible.
Speaking of listening to music, though, you ever played ball while the DJ was playing music while you was playing ball? The tempo of the game be crazy with that music, right?
Man, that's why I tell people this all the time, man, that you need music to catch the rhythm of the ball, your footwork, right? Basketball is just like you dancing, man. I just tell the kids when I train them, you're dancing with the ball. So if you got good footwork and your hand-eye coordination is good, then you're gonna be a damn good basketball player.
Yeah, most definitely. And you definitely just got to put the work in. That's for sure. Everybody.
Hold on, I got to give a shout out to my man Alan King. Man, he be throwing down. One of the chosen few, the DJs. Man, you hear it. They do it at the park over there, and he's always going live, man. Alan, you owe me some music, man, because I still need some of that house music, man. Maybe you can make us a track.
Yeah, man, for all ball Chicago.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do.
Get him on the show, man.
Alan King, we got to get you on because I need you to go live with your music while you talking to us.
Ah, that'd be dope.
All our house heads out there because we got a lot of house heads out here too, man.
On the lakefront, every night now they playing house music. At first it was just Thursday. Now it's Monday through Sunday, Liv. People out there in Chicago, 31st Street Beach, man, lined up, man, tables, man. It's been bananas out there, man. Shout out to Chicago for holding the peace out there. Ain't nothing happened, no incidents, kicking it, man.
But man, let's go ahead and get my man on now, man, because we've been talking, we've been jibber jabbing, running off at the mouth. Some of the west side, some of the south side cats want to hear from Randy Brown, man. You saw all the comments we had in our feed, man. So that's much love for my man. So let's get my man Randy Brown on right now.
Please. I'm tired of hearing y'all jibber jabbing talking about some music.
Hey, Randy. and Bobby like to give an intro. So you want to give the intro, Bob?
Absolutely, man.
Man, don't do this to me, please.
Welcome to another edition of All Balls Chicago. We got the legend from the west side of Chicago by way of Collins High School. Did his thing at New Mexico State. Dropped it to the Chicago Bulls. World champ with the Bulls. Give it up to my man Randy Brown in the building, baby. What's up, boy?
How could y'all put legend in front of my name, man? I love y'all.
You a legend, man.
Yeah.
To the guy that was sitting at home wasn't playing, you a legend, dog.
Brother, it depends on who you ask.
And that's crazy. That's crazy, Randy.
Man, hey, Bobby, I told Liv the other day, I'm a bad friend. There is no reason why I shouldn't have been on you guys' show a long time ago. That is my man. I personally, this dude has done stuff for me, man, that I can't even repay him for. That right there is a real friend. Got nothing to do with basketball. That's life. And I apologize that I told Liv, I said, I'm from the old school. I don't like texting. I will do it. But I told that man on the phone, I said, brother, I owe you 1,000,000 apologies, and that's real.
That's real.
He sure did.
That's real.
Thanks for having me, man.
So, Randy,
y'all got me. I'm jobless. I don't have a job. I don't have nothing to do. So, man, let's chop it up, please.
Hey, it's gonna be fun too, man. It's gonna be a
Good
great
deal, brother.
A great one.
Well, Randy, get in line with the rest of Americans, man. I don't have a job either, man. Liv, you got a job?
You selling the culture.
I'm not complaining.
I got the culture, right?
Yeah, I'm not complaining, brother. I'm in. I shouldn't say I'm in good health. I'm in good health. My family, this COVID thing is crazy, but I'm not complaining, brother. I'm in a good place. So,
amen.
For sure.
So Rambo, we usually, well, to our listeners, everybody don't know we call him Rambo, but the one from the west side of Chicago, they know we call him Rambo. So Rambo, we always start the show off with who put the rock in your hand.
Oh,
I
man.
know you had older siblings and
Oh, man.
but who put the rock in Rambo's hand?
You know what, Liv? I got 5 brothers and 2 sisters, and I come from an athletic family, man. And I actually was a baseball player before I played basketball, man. I was just this little kid, man, that loved sports. I tried football until my line wouldn't block for me for some reason. And found myself not giving my receivers enough time to get open. So I said, you know what, basketball's not me. You know, went to the baseball thing, which I love, played for the CC Royals, which was a West Side team for many years, man. And I was a fan of basketball, man, but my brothers, Alan Brown, Walter Brown, were basketball players who, you know, constantly took me to the playground, which is across the street from my home. And man, I just started playing this sport on concrete, on blacktop.
Right.
There were no inside courts for me to go play. And in my spare time, man, when I wasn't playing baseball and stuff like that, I just found myself just constantly outside, man, just playing by myself, rebounding by myself, playing 3-on-3. And next thing you know, over the years, brother, I started getting better. So I gotta give a shout out to my brothers for paving that way for me, for sure.
No doubt. And I know your brothers too, man.
Yeah, for sure. Good
all
people,
looking like.
You know what, Liv? We'll get into it later. But years and years later, when I played for the Bulls, my brother Alan actually walked into United Center and played in a charity basketball game. Everybody thought it was me, and they threw him my uniform. Right, we'll get into it later, but
I'm telling you guys, look, that DNA, man, is strong. Man. So
yes.
So, but yeah, man. But so you did the baseball thing, and then you jumped over to the basketball side.
Yeah.
And you didn't go to college first.
Oh man, Liv. I went to Providence St. Mel. Now, granted, I grew up in an area that wasn't so nice.
Right.
Projects, man. 20 years of my life, same project building, and somehow ended up at Providence St. Mel my freshman year. I was on a partial scholarship. My mom and dad worked. We didn't have a lot of money. And every month, my mom struggled to pay that partial tuition is what I had.
Mhm.
And I thought I was a good player. And I walked in there, I'm looking at Lowell Hamilton. I'm looking at Fernando Bunch,
Uh-huh.
Joe Jackson. I'm like, what am I doing here? and I played my freshman year, didn't make the varsity team. And that varsity team actually won the Class A championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just saw, and I'm a competitor, Liv and B. I never ran from competition, but I wasn't a very good student.
Oh.
Providence St. Mel was really, really aggressive with academics.
Mhm.
I was going to fail out. They
Right.
weren't going to let me play with C's and D's anyway. And I remember one day my brothers took me to get my ears pierced,
Mhm.
and went to school. And Ron Adams, the principal at the time, hit the roof. What are you doing with an earring in your ear? And basically, I got suspended.
Oh.
Providence St. Mel. And this was the perfect time for me to work my mom. I went to my mom and said, "Mom, I'm tired of you struggling, trying to pay this tuition. Let me go to Collins."
Right.
She was against it. But for that week that I was in home because I was suspended, she was like, "I got to get this boy out of here." He got to get out of his house. And so she let me go to Collins, man, which was the best thing that ever happened to me in my basketball career, brother.
Wow.
Yes, if I
Wow.
would have stayed at St. Mel, I would have been good. My parents would have struggled at paying that tuition,
Uh-huh.
but I got my best basketball experience, man, in a public high school.
Yeah.
I can't get away from that. So my mom is no longer here, my dad is no longer here, man, but they giving me the opportunity to go to the school, which was in my neighborhood, man, was a blessing for me, for sure.
Amen.
Yes.
Collins.
Oh yeah,
Collins Cobras. man.
Collins Cobras, brother. Red,
Hey,
wet-
but
Red-
back then everybody went Catholic though, Liv. Remember we were talking about that in the 80s because I went to Mendel. Back
Yes.
then.
everybody,
Yeah, man.
everybody. I wanted to go Catholic, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I
I wasn't prepared.
I wasn't prepared.
I wasn't prepared academically, bro.
Hey,
I wasn't
Rambo and Bob, I had the opportunity. Nobody knows this story. I told Bobby this. I was going to De La Salle.
Were you?
Yeah, I was going to De La Salle, but I didn't know all this stuff, man. That they was talking about. You got a test to get in, so I'm just showing up. I didn't prepare for nothing. I just wrote it down on the test, man. And I ended up failing the test. So I would have been at De La Salle, man. It's crazy. I would have been at De La Salle.
I wanted to be at a Catholic school, and because it was Providence St. Mel, it was a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And Liv knows this as well. Recruiting is everything, and every year Providence St. Mel didn't stand pat. They had to continue to recruit to stay at that powerhouse. And you're right, Liv. I'm today to this very day, I'm really good in math. I don't even know how I got into Providence St. Mel. How did I test in and make it?
I'm with you on that one.
Were they taking these students back in the day? I don't know.
You know damn well they was.
And I know that coach at De La Salle is kicking himself because he had an opportunity to get me over there, man.
Wow, that's awesome. Liv, I never knew that.
Yeah, man.
I never knew that, brother. But I was like I said, I took on the challenge of going to St. Mel, man. At the same time, it was a struggle academically for me and financial wise for my parents. It just wasn't the right time. It wasn't me,
Mm-hmm.
So I had to move on.
So Rambo,
Yeah.
we're gonna stick with that right now.
Okay.
Right, just for now. Like,
Okay.
why do you think, and I'm a victim of it too, that my mom and dad didn't go to far in high school. Why is it like that with most inner city kids about the academic, the education part? You know, why is it? Is it because of the two parents, or is it what you see is what you get in your neighborhood type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Liv, that's a great question, brother. And I, growing up on the west side of Chicago, and I'm gonna jump ahead, and I hope we revisit this a little bit later. In our session. But when I became assistant GM with the Bulls, that was my main concern with building relationship with kids. And one of the things I found out that most of these kids today don't have two parents. I had two parents. I was fortunate enough to grow up with both my parents, and back in the day, academics wasn't even though it was preached in my home. My parents were really strict with academics. I think I got a little bit of leeway because I was in the sports. Not saying that my parents were bad parents. They was like, well, Randy's gonna go play basketball. He can read later, and it should have been the other way around.
Right.
Right.
So I think even in today, these kids are loaded with basketball so much, man, and I think they're given the resources to become more disciplined in academics. From what I'm seeing and from what I'm hearing, these AAU teams are taking academics a little bit more serious. Back in the 90s, man, they just wanted you to go hoop. You know, they didn't. No, nobody other than my parents. Providence St. Mel was strict, but when I got to Collins, I was prepared for academics because they taught me in St. Mel to say, hey, you need 2 hours of study hall.
Right.
Hall was when I was 13, 14 years old. I thought study hall was trying to figure out how I'm gonna get past this defender or how I'm gonna become a better shooter. That was my study hall.
Right.
So I think, Liv, you can look at a number of aspects of why kids don't make it academically, but everybody has their own story. And the only thing I can say is now the years they're starting to change that. These programs are starting to focus on academics, man, because when that ball stops bouncing, brother, you're gonna need that piece of paper that everybody's telling you is not important, and that's not true. Not true.
Yeah, and I also think, Randy, that
yes,
the way teachers teach, they all teach the same way.
Yeah.
You know, and some people learn differently. You know, and I think that's a problem because I know me, I'm more visual. You know, some people could, comprehend quick, but I was more visual. And the teacher didn't get that. So that was the way they was going to teach, and that was it. So it kind of leaves guys like me behind because I can hear it, but it's not registering right away. So
that is huge, man, because I just finished school online classes, and I just learned at 50 years old that every kid doesn't learn the same way.
That's right.
I'm gonna use basketball a lot. I love watching film. I love seeing the mistakes
visual.
Well, and I remember that first year when I signed for the Bulls. My mind, I could pick up on any offense. My first day in practice with that triangle, oh my God. Phil Jackson was looking at me like, who is this kid and why? I struggled my first year with the Bulls because of that triangle. But when I started looking at it on film, I figured it out.
Right.
Yes, I figured it out. If you put that stuff on paper, I don't know where to go.
Right.
But when I started looking at film, I watched Michael. I watched Scotty, who excelled in that offense. I started watching it, and now I can teach it with my eyes closed today.
See,
from that, and I found out at an older age that I'm pretty good when I can see stuff instead of looking at it on a piece of paper.
Yeah. And since we're talking about education, you might as well go ahead and tell our listeners what you just accomplished. Randy Brown just accomplished something big. I'm gonna let him tell it. I'm gonna let him tell it.
Oh man, big. 53 years old, man. I didn't. I was lucky, man. I was lucky. Coming out of Mexico State, I got drafted in the second round by the Sacramento Kings. Played 12 years in the NBA. Worked another 15 years as a coach, director of player development, assistant GM. Not once did I ever think about a degree. Why did I need it? I got a great job.
Right.
One day, I wanted to go work at my alma mater, and they was like, Randy, it's going to be great. This is going to be a great situation for you. Oh, you don't have your degree. I was like, no. Couldn't work college basketball at all.
Oh.
And B, yes, here I am, 26 years of my NBA career, And later on in my career, I should say, when I became part of front office with the Bulls, telling all these kids to stay in school and get your degree, and I didn't have mine.
That's right.
Wow.
I didn't have mine, you know. So I got in touch with some New Mexico State people. We got in touch with some really good people. Found out I only needed 10 classes for my degree.
Damn.
Classes. Didn't even know. And so this time, when I wasn't working, I got online, got an administrator from New Mexico State, helped me with my classes. Brother, at 53 years old, I'm graduated, an alumni with a degree in sociology.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Finally, brother. And the thing about it, being Lib, I didn't tell you this. Never, ever, ever, my educational career never got an A.
Wow.
Never. 10 classes I took in New Mexico State, 9 of them were A's.
Wow.
And I'm like, I didn't even know there was a grade. Is that my final grade?
Wow.
And the crazy thing about it, I got a B in the best class that I ever had, which was a math class. I got a B.
Wow.
So yes, brother. My wife, man, she stayed on me about getting that degree, man. So I got to give a shout out to her. She was great. I sat in my office and just knocked it out, man. And I became a student again, and it taught me discipline. I had to get in there, and I said, hey, I'm gonna go in class every day from 9 to 12 o'clock. And man, I knocked it out, man. So that was a goal of mine, that I could finally have conversations with kids about the importance, man, of finishing school when you got.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick, Lib. Hey, Randy, I hear a lot of people saying, man, oh man, you don't need no degree. Oh man, that's just a piece of paper, man. You can get out here, a well-accomplished professional athlete like you. What do you say to people who say that, man?
Man, I was told that when I was a kid. What do you need a degree for? You playing basketball? Not true. I be, like I said, I'm not a fraud. I never have been. I've always been in a position where I want to help kids, especially kids from the inner city Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you a degree is not important, man. That is so not true, man. I thought that because I was Randy Brown and won championships for the Bulls, I could walk in anybody's door and get a job. That day when I was told no, hurt me that I couldn't work for my alma mater. And nobody told me that I needed a degree to go work college basketball. Nobody had this conversation with me. Nobody told me, hey, Randy, you need to go finish school. So what, you're making all this money, why don't you go finish school? Why? And I never, ever took it serious until that day. I was not given the opportunity to work for New Mexico State, and it hurt. So all these kids, man, I don't care how much money you have. Everybody has goals of winning championships and being all-stars, and man, that degree is a powerful thing, brother.
Yes,
it's a powerful thing. I'm telling you, as small as it seems, it's a powerful avenue, my brother, that opens up doors for you later in life.
Yeah,
and for a 50-year-old, you know, I wish
Right.
you told me this when I was 40.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the knowledge, brother, until I was 50 years old.
right.
So not true if someone tell you that education is not important, man. I don't care how old you are.
That's right.
Also,
Amen.
Oh, that's
It's
good
real.
stuff, man. But I wanted you to share that, man, because you know that's something that you accomplished, and you were all about it later on. Like you just said, later on, I was like, you know, I need this because the reason why I'm saying this, Randy, I think you will be a hell of a college head coach. You know, because of all that knowledge that you had. Yeah. As a defensive player, everybody looks at Randy Brown as a defensive player. I remember you as a hell of an offensive player. You know, dunking on cats.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's what I remember, Rambo. I'm like, I remember him locking up people. I remember him taking it and dunking, just like Ken do. Y'all always dunking with the left hand. And
with the left, right.
You know, and you catching bodies.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, wow.
My nemesis, Kendall Gill, brother. My nemesis. I swear to God, I chased Kendall, man, from the years. I remember playing in the summer league. I was like, God, dog, we playing against Kendall Gill today. I gotta bring it. I live, and I thank you for that, Liv. And a lot of people don't know that. I was a good offensive player. I was never a good shooter. but I was always quick and athletic. But the one thing I was, man, I was always a team guy. I was smart. And the one thing I continue to tell kids today is, how are you going to get on that basketball court? How are you going to make it tough for your coach to take you out of that game? And I was like, you know what? I got a skill. I'm a good defender. Let me see if I can steal 2 or 3 minutes here on this court defending. And when I got drafted by the Sacramento Kings, I was a part-time starter. You know, I come off the bench, I start my first 4 years there. And when I signed with the Bulls, I got a lot of haters. Why are you doing this? Do you know who you about to play with? You playing with Michael Jordan and Scotty and so I'm like, no, I'm ready for this because I know what they need. They need somebody that's gonna guard.
Right.
To play a role, and I didn't have to worry about scoring, Liv.
Right.
Well,
hold on right quick, Rambo.
Yes.
Hold on right quick. I want to show you something. Hold on.
Oh boy.
The odds are not on his side. That's Elton Campbell and Jerome Kersey.
Hey, Liv. That game, historical game for a lot of reasons. And that play happened. The play before, I was just arguing with Scotty. I'm like, Scotty, I was wide open. Why didn't you pass me that ball? And Scotty was like, hey, RB, you play your role. I don't care. I don't care if MJ was open in that corner. I was open too. And so the very next play, he throws it to me. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take this chance. And I got that. That was luck.
Wow.
That was you got a little bit of heart, brother.
You got a good.
Oh wow.
A little bit of that was a historical game, I say, because not only for that dunk, we were down 20 points in the fourth quarter in that game, and Tony Kukoc makes a shot at the buzzer to send into overtime. We're down 20. The game was over. It was over. So that right there, boy, was a historical moment, brother. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I had to put that up there. I had to put that. I'm a producer too, man. I'm learning how to do that stuff.
Hey, Liv, you snuck that one in on me.
Hey, Liv, I just had a class where it was a hotel management class, and I had to do what you just did. I was on Zoom, and they was like, Randy, why don't you pull some video up? And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. So I'm grabbing my phone. I'm texting my classmates like, how did you do that? Liv, you went up me on the producer part, brother.
Yeah, man, I had to learn how to do this stuff because it's just me and Bobby, you know. So
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
brother. That's awesome.
And now let's go ahead and jump into
Yes.
Mexico State. How, as a player, how do you think you open up the floodgates for Chicago wins to go to Mexico State? Because I'm reading the timeline. You got Keith Johnson saying, all these guys here saying that's the reason why I went there, because Randy.
The lefty, absolutely. Liv, a lot of people don't even know, Liv, that I went to the University of Houston first.
Right.
I was this little skinny freshman, started as a freshman with Phi Slamma Jamma, which a lot of kids don't even know what Phi Slamma Jamma was. And my freshman year, I played with Ricky Winslow, Cadillac Anderson, Stacy Belcher, and I didn't get a chance to play for Guy Lewis. You know, so
the legendary.
I played for my first 2 years at Houston and got a chance to transfer. And one of my high school teammates, Michael New, had already signed into Mexico State already. And I'm taking all these visits. You know, I'm still waiting for that one team that Liv played for that never recruited me. Wow. Still waiting for that call because I want to wear that uniform.
Wow.
And the University of Iowa called. And I was minutes away from signing with University of Iowa. Took a visit to New Mexico State in February. I get off the plane, El Paso, Texas. Las Cruces has no airport, by the way. 45-minute drive.
Whoa.
Yes. I get off the airplane. It's 85 degrees in February.
Like, oh man.
I go, okay. I get to campus. Co-ed volleyball game going on. I was like, there is no way I'm going to University of Iowa when it's a blizzard.
Right.
So again, man, I signed with New Mexico State because Michael New was already there. And from there, brother, it seemed like every year somebody from Chicago was signing with New Mexico State.
Mhm.
So most recently, I'm glad you brought that up because the AD, Mario Mocha, is my good friend. And I dogged him out. I was like, dude, I don't see a Chicago kid on your roster.
Mm.
Are we losing that pipeline? So that was a historical moment for myself, brother. And yes, Gar Foreman, who was the assistant coach there at New Mexico State, recruited me there, was the GM for the Bulls.
Yeah,
Crazy
I
story
remember
that
that.
people don't know. But it opened up the floodgates for people like my man Keith Johnson, Johnny Selvey, Ron Coleman, Mike New, and myself, Reggie Jordan, and I could go on and on, man. It was a special time, man, and for putting a mid-major on the map. My first year, my junior year, we shared the conference championship with UNLV, who won national championship that year. We were the cold regular season champions with them.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
a lot of people don't know, brother, that
Wow.
those 2 years at New Mexico State was special, man, and it did open up the floodgate. We got a chance to get on TV where some Chicago kids could see where's Las Cruces, and that was a special moment, brother. That we opened up a pipeline to some Chicago kids. That was a special time.
And what was y'all gym? Is that the pit?
The pit is New Mexico.
Okay.
Pitt is New Mexico, and I get that all the time. Luke Longley, New Mexico.
That's right. That's right.
Tony Snell, New Mexico.
Mm.
Never the two should meet. New Mexico and New Mexico State should never meet. Tony and Luke Longley and I are the best of friends. We kid and joke about that all the time. And Tony Snell, of course, going to University of New Mexico was actually one of my disciples. That kid was special, man. So that right there, man, was an opportunity for me to broaden my horizon, man. Kid from the west side of Chicago going to New Mexico just doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. But I was happy for sure.
Wow. So let's go to some of our listeners, man. They all on here, man. They on here.
Melody, I remember Melody. Back in the
boy.
day. Yeah. Oh man.
My man Shay Jones said, "Hey Randy, do you remember Darren Malone?"
D Malone, my man. And Liv, I don't know how much time we have, but you got me as long as you want.
All right.
And I've never been a selfish guy. And I have an ego, but I've never been in a situation where I was like, you know what, I'm better than anybody.
Right.
Mm.
I can always say that nobody's going to outwork me. Darren Malone, my man. Not sure why this dude never played in the NBA. You can say that I'm blessed. I got lucky, whatever. Good people right there, D Malone, man. Yes, I remember my man. We played in some back in the day when it wasn't AAU basketball. We played on a traveling team that we slept on the bus, ate on the bus, wear the same uniform for 3 straight days. No washing, no laundry.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I remember it like yesterday, brother. We got on that bus with Chris Head, and he told my mom, hey, we're going to play basketball, and didn't tell her where, and I ended up in Michigan somewhere.
Wow.
Can't do that today, right?
So D Malone is from Chicago.
Oh yes, Darren Malone, right from the west side of Chicago, brother. I went to ABC YMCA. Darren Malone from BBR, 2 different neighborhoods, but we put together a team led by Chris Head back in the day that was able to, call ourselves a traveling team, which was a good experience for me.
And let me ask him about Chris Head. I hear a lot of people talk about Chris Head. What's the Chris Head, man? What's to that guy, man?
The Black Bobby Knight. Well, being Liv, back in the day, there was no discipline. That was outside of your home. If you're going to play basketball with a coach, you can expect to get your jersey grabbed and your head slapped.
Right.
Chris Head, smartest dude I ever met in my life, disciplinarian big time. He's the reason why there's not a coach in the world can rattle me.
Wow.
I don't care on any level. I don't care. Chris Head was that reason, man. He was a disciplinarian. He was smart. He practiced. He He made sure that everything was team first. And that's why he won at Westinghouse.
Yeah.
He won all those championships at Westinghouse, man, because he was able to coach egos.
Mm.
You know,
I was gonna say something about that Westinghouse because
Boathouse,
they didn't win championships until he got there, right?
Until he got there,
Right.
because Liv and B back in the day, you know, and you even hear this story today. They said Westinghouse had more talent walking the halls than in the court.
Mm-hmm.
When Chris Head got there, he walked the halls. He walked the halls and said, "Hey, I'm the new coach here." And he said, "I remember him telling me when he got there, he had like 50 or 60 kids trying out for his team, and they didn't even know they had that many basketball players in that building."
Wow.
And so he was the type of guy, man. Like I said, he coached ego. He coached kids that people don't want to deal with. Yes, that's why he had so much success, man. But you talking about a disciplinarian? Oh my God! I used to go home and tell my mom, "Man, Mom, Chris Head kicked me in the back." She'd be like, "You know, you can't even point a finger in a kid's face today."
No.
So that's why I give the props to Chris Head, man. After Chris Head's teaching, there's not a coach in the world can say anything to me that will rattle me. That's for sure.
Right.
That's good.
And I think that's your cousin right here.
Yeah, that's my cousin. That's my cousin, man. Mac, what's up, cuz? True gentleman. He calling me a gentleman. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's my story, Chris Head. That's my shout out to my brother.
Man, but you know what, man? Like, I used to hear stories about Chris Head all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Now hearing somebody like yourself who actually, you know, was under him, as a shorty, giving him his props, man. A lot of people won't give each other, you know, those roses while they still here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Bob had a story. We had a show about that. Give them their roses while they still here.
Man,
I would love to get Coach Head on the show too, to talk about all of the people that he touched, you know.
Man.
And that's what I like about Chicago old school coaches. You know, I'm not knocking the new school coaches, but the old school coaches was more about making sure the discipline part was there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
absolutely.
Because they knew we had the talent. They already knew the kids from the inner city has the talent. But they did was say, you know what, we have to be disciplined enough to know how to play the game now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just throw the ball out there and you hoop.
Yeah,
you know, making sure. And I'm glad you said that about him, man. That he was a student of the game. He gave you the knowledge. You can go out and play against anybody because nobody could break you down.
Nobody could break me. Nobody could break my spirit, Lib, and you just said it, man, brother. I've a lot of people know me, a lot of people don't know me. I've never had an issue with giving somebody their props. I have no ego.
Right.
If there's room for everybody to eat, I'm okay with that. Right. I've never been a hater. What I have been, Liv and B, I have been a person that really, really, really protect myself.
Right.
I'm not gonna let anybody run over me. I'm not gonna let anybody disrespect me. But at the same time, brother, I have no problem with telling a brother, man, you cold.
Wow.
You cold.
I want. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I know. I was just saying. I wonder if Chris Head, if his brother Terry Head was anything like Chris Head, because my son played for Terry Head, and I told my son, I said, after going through that, you could deal with anything, because the way he ran his practices, dude, there was no dead balls. You running in the stands, man. After that ball, you diving after everything, man. You fighting. I mean, the practices was so grand. Well, it set the tone for my sons.
Have you ever been in a practice where there was no out of bounds?
Yeah, that's how Terry Head ran his practices, dude.
There was no out of
bounds.
You to be mentally tough, physical.
Yes, go out.
Yeah,
go after the ball until the whistle.
Yeah.
There was no out of bounds. I'm like, Coach, the ball's out of bounds. Knucklehead, there is no out of bounds. I'm like, oh,
right.
Yeah, so that right there, brother. And again, that was in the 80s. That was in the late 80s, 90s, where that philosophy worked, man, for inner city kids. And even Liv and B, I remember my coach at New Mexico State was Neil McCarthy, was like, yeah, I heard you're from the inner city, and I heard you can take all this. I'm like, I'm looking at him like, take what?
Right.
You're not gonna rattle me. So no matter what he did, he was like, I can't rattle this kid. Maybe I can take him out of the game. You're gonna have a good reason to take me out of this game, coach. And I didn't give him a good reason. So,
so Rambo, we got to go to some of the listeners again because they got
Okay.
they got some great ones, man.
oh no,
And I remember this too. And I'm glad you on this, so now you can answer
oh
this
no,
question.
oh
It
no,
was against the Indiana Pacers
oh boy,
playoff game,
I already know.
and you walked.
I already
When
know.
Reggie Miller shot the ball, you walked. You walked right to the locker room.
Well, first of all, I'm 53 years old. And Reggie Miller, every time you know that highlight film is on like the Indiana Pacers starting lineup introduction.
Wow.
And every time it comes on, I get a call from Reggie Miller. Every time. Every time. So I'll tell you guys a real story. I remember it like yesterday. 1998. A lot of people don't understand. 1996 Chicago Bulls, 72-10.
Oh, that was nasty.
A lot of people don't even talk about the 97 team, 69 wins.
Yeah.
That third championship in 98 was probably the most stressful season I've ever encountered as a player and a person. So
that was the last dance, right?
That was the last dance, brother. And I'm pretty sure we'll get into the last dance as well.
Right.
And so if it was stressful for me, imagine what it was for Michael and Scotty and Dennis and Steve Kerr and Tony Kukoc and Luke and all those guys. So that game, that series right there against the Indiana Pacers probably was the most stressful season or series we ever went through as a Bulls.
Wow.
Ever. We were beat.
Yeah, y'all won.
We were beat, brother. That team came, they brought it. And that particular play, Lib and B, I remember Indiana's got the ball, and I'm like, and I'll tell you guys the story. Phil Jackson never says who's in the game. He puts it on a board, on a clipboard, so everybody's looking over his shoulder. You got to be that he makes you engage during the timeout. You got to look over his shoulder to see who's in the game.
Oh.
So during the timeout, he's writing the name on the board. I'm in there like, oh yeah, I know I'm in this game because I got to guard Reggie Miller.
Right.
My name's not on that board. I'm hot.
Wow.
I'm sitting there like, okay, what's gonna happen? And then Reggie Miller shoots that ball. I'm like, there's no way this is going in. This dude just pushed MJ, which Reggie Miller said he didn't. Pushed MJ and got that shot up. I was like, there's no way this ball is going in. So I'm walking, and it goes in, and I got to make a U-turn. I'm like, God dog it, we got to go. So again, a little bit of my ego that I wanted to be in that game when the game was on the line. Defensively, I wanted to be in the game and I wasn't. And I just saw that ball going up, and in the angle that I got Liv and B, I was like, this ball is going in. I'm walking, got the angle where Reggie Miller shot that ball. And I'm like, God, this ball is going in, and it goes in.
Damn.
So yes, people, of course, Reggie Miller. Every time I see Reggie Miller, he like, dude, I cannot get away from that video. I'm like, why are you talking to me about that?
His ankle wasn't hurting no more either after he hit that shot. Remember, he jumping around. I thought you was hurt, Reggie.
He was hurt. He ran around the damn gym after he made the shot.
But hey, big props to Reggie Miller. That was a bad man. Bad.
Please. Dude was I live and be. I was a good defender, but I wasn't polished. I wasn't disciplined, and I got disciplined as a defender. Michael and Scotty used to always say, dude, you're good, but you're killing us. You're good, but you're killing us. Think about that, because I'm always trying to go for a steal. I'm always trying to make the big play. And I remember the one day, man, they was like, dude, you got to guard Reggie Miller. Taught me how to chase strings, not get picked off. And I remember for a quarter, man, I chased Reggie Miller around and chased the dude and fouled him and grabbed him. And he and I became respectful players. Oh, for that very reason. For Reggie Miller, man, probably other than the great one, and probably one of the toughest covers I ever had.
Wow, so Mike and Scotty told you that.
Man, chase this dude.
Wow.
Chase this. We gotta here's an opportunity for you to do something different. And through film and through, like I said, there was guarding MJ every day should have taught me something, right?
Right. Hell yeah, man.
But Reggie Miller was a different cover.
Right.
I can find Michael. I know where he's going to be.
Right.
He's going to be on either block. Reggie Miller's all over the place, so it's a different cover for me, man. But that was me using my smarts, my ability, man, to defend.
That's interesting you say that, because now that you say that, Reggie Miller, I mean, we all knew he was a shooter, a scorer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he was getting his shots off those screens. You know,
He
Mike can get the ball in his hand and still create, but Reggie needed them screens.
Reggie used he was in great shape to play like that, and Michael was like, I'm not going to go through all that.
Right.
MJ was like, well, you said you wanted me. I'm gonna be right here on this left block. I'm gonna turn my right shoulder to the middle on the left block, and on the right block, I'm gonna turn my left shoulder to the middle. You're gonna find me right here, but now you gotta stop it. So I learned from some great offensive players, brother, to learn how to defend by watching film.
Hey, Liv, let me hop in real quick. Old Red, what was those practices like, man, when y'all practiced, man? Because Liv say they practices was rough. What was the Bulls practices like?
I'm not kidding with you. I played my first 4 years in Sacramento with Mitch Richmond, another great.
I was gonna say that next, but that's
man.
Okay.
My man taught me everything. And when I got to the Bulls, that first day of practice, I was like, where do they do this at? Where do they do this at? And I remember that first practice, Phil Jackson introduced the triangle. All these guys already knew the triangle. Myself and Dennis Rodman didn't know it.
Right.
Okay.
And we're watching these guys, and I'm like, I'm not getting out there. I don't even know this. I told them I knew it. I didn't know that offense. But B, when I tell you the games were easier, crazy.
Oh.
The game slowed down when the lights came on, because practice, man, was so intense. There were many times where at some point in practice, Phil Jackson split up Michael and Scotty. And the practice became more competitive, and he put an emphasis on, all right, the game to 5 by ones. That means every basket is going to be huge. Every defensive assignment is going to be huge. And we did that so much. By the time the game came along, we was like, this is easy. It slowed down for us, B, because our practice was so competitive, man. We got, back in the day, there was no situation where there wasn't going to be some pushing and shoving and fighting, but after the practice is over, you're hugging.
Right, right.
And that was us. That was us. Just think about it. Dennis Rodman beat the hell out of Pip and MJ for years and became their teammate.
Right.
Yeah. And, we put all these egos, man, on the court at the same time, man. And the thing about it, Phil Jackson was a stickler on practicing. He wanted you out there in practice because he knew that was going to help us for the games going forward. And so, man, when that game came along, man, I was like, how am I this wide open? They were like, well, Randy, you probably open because you're not a good shooter.
Oh.
Y'all can laugh.
Hey, I used to hear that. I wasn't going to say, man, I'm going to let you, you want to say that about yourself, go ahead and say it.
But brother, I'm telling you, B, that's a great question, man. I get this question all the time, and I probably have a different answer. The real game slowed down for us because, of course, there were referees in the real game. There was stoppage. So when the game came along, brother, it was like, by the time they stopped that running Bulls introduction, we were up 25 points anyway. when teams saw that, they was like, you know what? Let's go on, just
pack it
in, brother. So B, that's a good question, brother. I'm telling you, I over that duration with the Bulls through practice, brother. The games were so much easier and it was so much slower, for sure.
Wow.
But Rambo, you played Chicago Bulls with Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc, Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman.
Oh boy.
And how was those tickets like, man?
Well, Lib, I told you, Lib, I've never been disrespectful, and I don't have an ego. one year, you guys don't even know, we had 4 Hall of Famers on one team.
Right.
We had Robert Parrish.
That's
Sure
right.
did.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah. That was that 95, 96?
That was the 95-96 season.
Mm-hmm.
We had Robert Parrish walked in that locker room. You could hear a pin drop when the Chief. Oh man, live. When the Chief walked in, we had Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on that team, and Dennis Rodman.
Right.
When the Chief walked in, you could hear a pin drop, brother.
Chief.
We were loaded. We were loaded with talent, heavy up top. And then we had a bunch of guys that played that role. Steve Kerr, Judd Bushler, myself, Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley. Please don't. Ron Harper. Nobody understands who Ron Harper was before that knee injury.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, he would kill him.
Oh man,
Yeah, man.
he was a force. Bill Winnington, don't let me forget my great friend. So, brother, we put the late Jerry Krause put together some great teams. He did it right. And I think the most important thing is they wanted to put the right people around Michael and around Scotty, around Dennis Rodman, around Tony Kukoc, who's going into the Hall of Fame in September. So to put the right pieces around those players, man, was important. And they made sure they put right people around. They put people that weren't going to break the tradition of playing a role for the Bulls, and that's what got me with the Bulls for so many years, brother. I played a role. I put my ego aside for the team, and I survived it, Liv. I survived 12 years that way.
Yeah.
That's huge, man.
So playing for the Bulls in my backyard.
That's right.
A team that I grew up watching, minutes away from the United Center.
You couldn't write it no better.
Man, so that's why I was easy. It was an easy conversation for me and Derrick Rose, because I knew what he was about to encounter. So to answer your question, Liv, think about it: 5 brothers, 2 sisters, kids, wife. Bulls only gave us 4 tickets, and I swear I went through 20. I had to buy 20. I went through 24 tickets a game easily.
Wow.
Easily. And during the last dance, you can see in one of the segments where Michael was giving me tickets.
I saw that.
That's because there's not a ticket in the building to be bought. I got 24, and the game is sold out. I'm like, okay, there got to be some tickets somewhere. Who has all the tickets? Black Cat.
It's interesting that you say that too, Brandy, because when I was with the Nuggets, same situation. I needed tickets.
Yeah,
Mike would always send tickets over there to give to me.
Liv. I didn't know that until later. This dude is sharp. This dude is sharp. He's not. It's my good friend. This dude is sharp. He used to look at the roster and see which Chicago player is coming in, and send tickets to the visitor locker room for the kids. That's who thinks of that?
I know.
Oh.
Any kid that's coming in and playing in the United Center, visiting team, MJ already knows. Like Liv said, lives here in the United Center. Send him some tickets.
Yeah,
he did it all the time, and I didn't even know that until later on that he was taking care of Chicago kids, because it's 25,000 seats in that building. There's only 5,000 to buy, and MJ had 4,000 of those.
He bought 4,000 seats.
I don't know if he bought 4,000. B.
That ain't nothing to Mike though, right?
I'm looking. The dude got a stack of tickets. Well, we're a stack of tickets like this.
right.
He's got them. I'm like, why is the game sold out? And I'm like, okay, somebody's got tickets around here. MJ. He's in his office in the back with his feet kicked up, drinking coffee before the game with a stack of tickets, just handing them out. So he knew I was a Chicago kid. He knew that was my moment. He blessed me on times where he didn't have to.
But tell some of our listeners, man,
Yes.
a good Mike Jordan story. Not no ugly one, just a good MJ story.
And I'll tell this story. He knows this. If he sees this, he's gonna laugh. I free agency, summer 1995. I'm a free agent. First time ever I become a free agent. And I got an opportunity to sign with a couple of teams in the Eastern Conference. I'm not going to bring up their names. I'm this close to signing with this team in the Eastern Conference, not the Bulls. And we're playing open gym at Moody Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, I play for the Sacramento Kings. I got a chance to go back play for the Kings, but I'm taking advantage of this free agency thing. So we're playing. We're getting ready to play at Moody Bible. You know, everybody's lacing up their shoes, and all of a sudden you hear hush. Everybody's like, "Oh boy, it's MJ coming in the gym to hoop." I'm like, "Here's my opportunity," and I was opposite. I wasn't on his team, and I remember sitting there trying to guard him. Keyword is try. And I remember him telling me, anybody crazy enough to think they can guard Michael Jordan needs to be my teammate. He was talking about me. He was talking about me. I remember that. I remember that day, man, like yesterday. We finished playing. You know, after the games, a couple of guys had coolers and we had sandwiches and beer. And he comes out of the gym like, "Is this what you guys do? You guys hoop and drink beer after?" And it was the funniest thing, man. I got called my agent. I was like, "Dude, we got to sign with the Bulls."
Right.
I was live and be. I was about to give up an opportunity to play for a team that I've been watching my whole life, who I've been dreaming about wearing a Bulls uniform, and I was about to elude that situation.
Right.
Right.
I for some reason I did not want to play for the Bulls at the time of going through the pressure of playing for the Bulls, and that day Michael changed my mind, and that day right there, brother, changed my life. You know, I played for a team that I was watching as a kid, and then win 3 championships.
That's crazy.
I was the last Bull to leave in 2000. All my teammates were gone. I was the only one that left with Elton Brand and Ron Artest by myself. And those years, brother, opened up doors for me later in the future, which I had no idea was going to happen for me. And so that story right there, brother, sticks in my mind. And if Michael Jordan didn't walk in the gym that day, I'd probably not a Bull.
Wow.
Yes. Crazy story.
True story.
And it's a very true story. 100% true. And I say the key word, try to guard.
Mike said, anybody try to guard me need to be on my team. Mike talk like that.
Anybody crazy enough to think they can guard Michael Jordan needs to be my teammate.
He was that tough, Randy.
B. He was quick. He was probably one of the best mid-range shooters I ever saw. And the dude, he competitive. I don't care what it was. It can be 0-0. The dude just brought it. Who averages 35 points in the season?
Right.
He went through a month. B. He didn't miss. This dude, man, and a lot of kids they only saw the finished product,
right,
with the tongue out. They never saw what this dude did in practice.
Right.
This dude practiced,
and he went hard.
He practiced, and if you didn't practice, you gonna hear from him. Liv, I had a broken big toe. You know, you ever try to walk with a broken big toe? I'm wearing, first of all, I couldn't walk. Came in the Berto Center with no shoe on, thinking, like, you know what, I'm finna sit and chill and watch practice. I got there, no shoe on, and he looked at me, he's like, "No, your toe all right?" I'm like, "No, this thing is broken." He's like, I see you out on the court. I'm like, "You out on the court?" So Liv and B, true story. I'm wearing Jordans at the time. Put on the shoe, couldn't even tie it up. Chip Schaefer is the head trainer at the time. I'm like, "Chip, I gotta practice." And he was like, "Yeah," he kind of agreed with me because, you know, if I don't practice, I'm gonna hear from MJ. They cut a hole at the top of my Jordan for my toe to get some separation. And I walked out on the court and MJ looked at me, he was like, "You must be ready." And I practiced, brother, with a broke toe with a hole at the top of my shoe.
Wow.
Wow.
Practice. He was.
He's different. He's different.
He's a different dude, man. A lot of people say, "Oh, MJ, he's tough on his teammate. He's this." Dude never ever raised a voice at me ever. The only thing he did was, "Randy, you're not doing your job today." Did that. This dude brought it, man. He like I said, the kids, people saw what they saw on TNT. They didn't see the 2 hours that he put in practice, dude. This dude practiced, man, which was surprising to me. Surprised me. Pip, Scotty, practice. Dennis Rodman wouldn't stop practicing. Wouldn't stop. So I came to a team to the Bulls coming from Sacramento where we weren't very good, and missing practice wasn't even a conversation. You miss practice. Coming into the Chicago Bulls, brother, there was no missing practice.
Wow.
There was none of that. If you can walk, you got to practice. And I got caught in too, getting prepared. You know, I never prepared myself and live for practice the right way. I didn't eat right because I didn't know. I didn't sleep well because I didn't know. And I had to learn this stuff all over because I'm like, how are these dudes bringing this like this? And I learned how to eat right. I learned how to put the right foods in my body. And brother, I had to get on that level, not on the playing level, but the mind level.
Right. Wow.
That's interesting that Mike didn't take no practice off, man.
Dude,
I played with guys.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say no names, but I played with guys when they wore certain kind of shoes to the gym to practice.
yeah.
I'm like, what? Oh,
Yeah.
coach, no. When I put these on, he know I'm not practicing. I'm like, wow. And you the star.
That's the thing. That's an absolute thing, and I lived that live. My first 4 years in Sacramento. I'm not gonna say any names either. Like I said, missing practice was whatever. We playing tomorrow. Well, what am I practice for today? And when I came to the Bulls, it shocked my system.
Right.
It shocked me, Liv. I wasn't ready.
I would expect that from Mike. I ain't going to
right? No. This dude practiced, man. This dude practiced, and he made practice good by just watching him and Scotty just go at it, man. It made practice competitive, and that's why I said when that light came on at the United Center, we're ready. We're ready. The game slowed down for us. It's real stuff.
Hey, what did that?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, real quick, I just
Go ahead,
want
Bob.
this is just some false. This is just some hypothetical stuff.
Uh-oh.
What do that Golden State team do to y'all team? They won 83 games. What do y'all do? What is that hypothetically?
The funniest thing that somebody sent me a while ago, they was like, they asked MJ, what would the game be like between the Bulls and the Golden State Warriors? And I think MJ responded like, you know what? It'll be a close game, but we would have beat them. And the guy was like, well, why? He was like, well, we're all 50 years old now.
I saw that.
Typical
MJ
Michael comment. Typical Michael. But I think Scotty answered it well too. He was like, what era are you going to play in? Because if you're going to play in the 90s where if you wasn't hand checking, you're not doing your job.
Right.
If you're not throwing somebody in the stands going for a layup, you're not doing your job. Right. Or are you playing today's game, which is a little bit more different, a little bit more freer basketball, a little bit more skills involved. And in the 90s, man, if you didn't eat your Wheaties, man, you can be put on that injury list for a couple of weeks, man. So as much as I am a fan of watching Golden State, man, I cherish the 90s basketball, man, because it was a who's going to out tough who's going to be the last man standing. Not to take anything away from today's game, where the game is a little bit more skillful, guys are a little bit more polished. You got Kevin Durant. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of LeBron. Huge fan of Steph Curry. Just to watch these guys play today thrills me. Yeah. Thrills me. I love watching it. To say they can't play in the 90s, I can't say that. To say that we couldn't play in today's game, I know I couldn't because I wasn't a good shooter, but I don't think my defense will do anything to Kevin Durant today. Michael and Scotty will probably say, yeah, they can play today, but man,
they're more athletic. They are definitely more athletic.
They're athletic. They're athletic, Lib. They're doing different things off the bounce. It's just a different game, and I get that question all the time, and I only say that it's the like you said, you give the roses to the guys who paved the way, and the reason why the game is like that today is because of what the players went through in the 80s and the 90s.
That's right.
They had to keep getting ahead of the curve and advancing that game because in the 80s, I remember Derek Harper, I couldn't even get the ball on the court because this dude had my shorts in one hand and my jersey in the other. I'm looking at Scotty and Michael like, dude, y'all gonna have to bring this ball up because D Harp ain't letting me bring it up today. So be interesting question, brother. I just think in the 90s, the game was played at a different level, and to see those guys play today, man, it's fun to watch. That's for sure.
It is, and we still, man, Randy, you might get the most people come on this timeline, man. There's so many people.
Really,
it's one I can't see them because I don't think they subscribe to our channel, but it says Randy used to welcome us to his Homewood career back in the day when I played at UIC, and he taught us valuable lessons. I don't know who it is because they're not on our page, but it said it.
So here's the situation. So Lib is talking about the south suburb of Chicago. So the summer of '95, I bought that house just because I didn't have a house in Chicago. I bought that home.
I think I came to that crib too.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
2 months later, I signed with the Bulls. Mind you, the Berto Center is an hour away.
Whoa.
It's an hour drive.
Yeah, way out there home with Flossmoor.
Yeah, I drove. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning every morning and drove to the Berto Center for practice every morning. And I was like, because I didn't think I could sign with the Bulls. Yeah. And so I remember just, man, back, and that was part of me. I put a basketball rim in my driveway, and I come home. There's a game going on in my driveway. I don't even know these people. And a couple of times I get home, nobody's there, and I'm like, why is there like Gatorade bottles and all this stuff in my driveway? I'm like, where is this? I'm thinking the wind blowing it in. And one day I get home, there's a tournament at my house.
What?
I didn't even know these kids live. I'm pulling up, and they get out of the way and let me get in my garage.
And they kept playing.
Man, but they stopped. But I got out of the car and was like, "Who are you guys?" First of all, they were like, "Well, we live here," and I'm like, "Continue playing, man."
Right.
Just pick up. Yes. Wow. So that's probably what this kid is talking about, man. Back those days when I just let kids play in my driveway, man, because it was there, Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, what is this right here? Can you see that, man, Paul?
Remember the rap video?
Hangman homicide. Oh, Andre Collins' brother. Yes, I do remember it. It was on the west side of Chicago. It was some young rappers that I knew that were up and coming, and they used my car in a video, man. I think I probably was in it for like 10 seconds, just as much I was in the Last Dance. I was in the Last Dance for like 25 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I remember they used my car in the video for those kids on the west side. I remember that like yesterday. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Rambo, you definitely, I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Be a head coach. You
brother.
Because you are good for this, man. You built for it. You learn so much from all these coaches and players.
Yeah.
That you are built for this, man, to give back, to our younger generation. And I think you can communicate. You can bridge that gap. The old school coaches, how they just constantly on them. you can mend that gap and say, you know what, I did this. I've been there and done this. So do it this way, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of kids will learn from that. You know,
I learned. You know what, Lib? I learned from some good people, man. I learned from some good basketball people that never, stepped a foot on the NBA court, and I take that knowledge to heart too, because, Lib and B. If you look at the history of me, I was never the best player on my high school team. I was. You can say I was the best player on my college team, but not really. I definitely wasn't the best player on my NBA team. So I learned from building relationships, man. I tried to do it the right way. I've always treated people the right way. I don't think my 12 years in the NBA, I don't think there's like one teammate that hasn't had an experience with me that's gonna say it was negative. And I tried to take that Live and be into coaching. And when I worked in the front office with the Bulls, I tried to deliver that message to the kids as well. I went from coach to putting on a suit and telling these kids, hey, this is what they're going to be looking for. This is what's going to stop you from getting in. And if I can help you that way, I could. I remember B, I talked to some kids in the camp, and they were like, well, Randy, you're assistant GM for the Bulls, what's it like? And I'm like, it's unfair for me to determine if Marcus Liberty can make it into the NBA. It's unfair that I get to judge that. And so if the Bulls are going to put me in that position, I felt like I got to help the next kid. So I say, you know what the Bulls are looking for? They don't care. They already know you can run and jump and shoot. They want to see if you're coachable. They want to see if you're going to be yelling and screaming at your teammates. That what really knocks the inner city kid out of the game. Just think about it. These times, you
said that's what knocked him out?
That's really what knocks him out. It has nothing to do with basketball ability, B. It has to do with, oh my God, we can't coach this kid. He's cursing out his coach. Look how he's treating his teammates. That's what knocked the kids out of the game. It has nothing to do with basketball. And so that's the message, Liv, that I try to deliver. Like, hey, I'm seeing this. I don't even know. Many times I went and watched a college game. I wouldn't even know the score. Never looked at the score. Only thing I looked at was the bench. I'm looking to see what this kid do when his coach pulls him out.
Right.
I'm looking to see how he interacts with coaching. I'm looking to see how he interacts with his teammates. If he's always pointing a finger at his teammate or he's saying my fault, that's the stuff that I put in my reports.
Right.
So that's what I felt like I can get back to the kids. So I gave the kids the brand. I gave them the brand. So Liv and B, think about this, Liv. You know this. Watch an NBA game. Where's the cameras pointed? B, what do you think? Where are the cameras pointed at?
On that bench.
Usually on the bench.
Absolutely. Both cameras are pointed at the benches for that very reason. They not saying they're looking for it, but you can catch everything from looking at the bench. You can tell you everything you want about a player. You already know Marcus Liberty. I already know who he is as a player. I'm trying to find out if he can wear a Bulls uniform. Can he survive with his mind and his heart?
Right.
And that's the brand I try to give back to the kids for sure.
And I'm hoping some of our listeners who's involved in youth basketball give this knowledge, what you're saying right now, Randy, to their young generation, so you preparing them for what's to come. You know, a lot of times and I'm just gonna say, some coaches just forget about that. You know, so they nip it in the bud. They see the kid acting up and they don't go say nothing to him. But all in all reality, that you setting that kid up for failure, because if you, Randy, like you just said, in college, you're scouting these guys to come play in the NBA and they're not ready. You're Xing them off the list, and they don't even know why they're being X'd off the list, because nobody never corrected them when they was a shorty.
Thanks for having me on the show, fellas. Liv, you made a great point. You're setting the kids up for failure. And I know there's a different time, and I can get with the times. I can talk 80s, 90s, 2000s. I can talk it. I've done it. And I just talked to, I went and visited AAU team a couple of weeks ago. Coach had already prepped me on his team already. And it was a situation where one of his players was really, really good player. I saw the kid play. But I didn't know the coaches filled me in that, hey, man, it's been a couple of times during the game, this kid took off his jersey and threw it. I was like, during the game?
Damn.
So I knew he gave me that before I talked to kids. So the players didn't know I knew this. So I'm talking to the kids and I'm like, what does it say to a teammate or your parents watching when you take off a jersey during a game? I say, how do your friends view you? You take off a jersey and throw it because you're the best player. I said, that's what gets a player X'd off the list. That right there. It gets them knocked off. Another point, Liam, I told the kids, and this was me too. Okay. And this is the reason why I can talk the talk, because that was me. All the time during the game, when I was a player, I'm like, why am I not in the game?
Right.
Why am I not getting more minutes?
Right.
Think about how your teammate is feeling when you're saying that. Who you should be playing in front of.
Right.
You saying you're better than your teammates and your teammates aren't worthy?
Right.
Right.
I told the kids, I said, so when you guys are complaining and talk about I'm not playing, you saying your teammates not worthy of that playing time too?
Right.
Right.
A lot of kids don't think about that, man, when they were like, man, I should be playing in front of him.
Oh, man.
Think about how it's been around for years. I'm not going to change that.
Right.
Right.
But the conversation has been around for years, man. And so I tried to put it on the kids' mind, like, the next time you want to say and think, why is he in the game and not me? Think about how your teammate is feeling when you're saying that about him.
Right.
And I look around, all the guys' eyes and mouths are wide open. I was like, I got him. I got the point across.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I think before we go, Rambo.
Yes, bro.
I got two topics I want to talk about. Okay. First, I want to talk about the parents, and this AAU. So let's talk about the parents first. Parents, do you think the parents are too much involved with their kids now in AAU, high school basketball? I'm not going to say college, but some of them do take it all the way to college and still be involved in the situation. Kid looking up the stands, mom, coach telling one thing, he looking at his dad and mom. Man, who you gonna listen to? But talk about the parents first. You know what you think a parent should be. You know, as far as trusting the college coach or the high school coach or the AAU coach.
Wow, Liv, brother, you hit on a touchy subject, man. It's absolutely so true. And as a parent myself, you always want your kids to succeed. And in today's game in sports, these parents are they're the kids' support system. You know, they feel like they're putting in the time and the work for their kids to succeed. And so when those accolades aren't adding up, my man Nick Anderson, Simeon, oh my God. When those parents don't see those accolades adding up to the product they want to see on the court, the parents can be a little bit more vocal. Are they doing the kids justice? No. But I can understand that the parents want the best for their kid. They want their kids to compete. They want to see their kids' name in the clouds. And as a parent, I truly understand that. And that's where I know this, and I know it a little bit more. AAU basketball basically is taking over high school basketball. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And I've been to a couple of games with my nephews, watching the games, and the one thing that I can't take a parent coaching their kid from the stands when the coach is there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you are setting the kid up for failure. You're not giving the coach an opportunity to coach his team, his players, because I'm pretty sure there was some practice before those games. So yeah, I think the parents are in a situation to live and be where they feel like, hey, I invested all this time in my kid. I want to see him succeed on this level. And if it's not right, I'm going to move him to a situation where it's going to be better for him. It's not always the case. Right. It's not always the case to transfer and say, I transferred and it had nothing to do with competition. I transferred for a reason that I played for a college coach that I didn't know. and I was given the opportunity to move on. But I look at transferring, moving on as a sign of I don't want to compete for this.
Okay.
You waking them up, Brandy. You waking them up. You waking people up.
I don't want to compete for this. And that's why I say I can talk the talk. I can walk the walk. I walked into a building with Michael and Scotty.
Right.
And Steve Kerr, knowing what I was going to be into. Not afraid of competition, not afraid of the results that I'm going to get out of that. So, and so it lived. I hope I answered your question. I can understand parents wanting more for their kids. And I can understand the parents thinking that the kid's not getting the right education or the right hands-on, but at the same time, they got to allow the guy in charge to do his job.
And the reason, Randy, but the reason why I asked that question because I'm looking at you. You played in the NBA. You played with the world champions. You got 3, championship rings. Yeah. You was known as a scorer in high school. Yeah. Then you switched up. Then you went to college, did your thing. Yeah. But you was known for defense. Yeah. Everybody talks about Randy Brown. You say, man, he's a defender. So what I'm trying to get our listeners and some of the parents that's listening to us, let your kid be that complete player. Don't look at him just being a scorer because when he doesn't score, now you're saying, well, my baby is not scoring, so I need to transfer him to somewhere where they're going to let him score his points.
Wow. Lib, B, I'll tell you guys a story. 1991 pre-draft in Chicago. Wasn't even invited. I wasn't even invited. And only reason I got in is because the kid got injured. And I told this story. I tell this story to kids, even today. I got in that pre-draft in front of all these scouts and did something that I knew I couldn't do. I got out there shooting threes. I hit everything but the rim.
Wow.
Here's my opportunity being lived for me to get drafted. I went in that draft process shooting threes.
Right.
And knowing that was that character. I was a defender. I was athletic. And it almost didn't get me drafted. I went from supposedly being drafted 20 to 31 because I went in there trying to do something I knew I couldn't do.
Wow.
And I tell that story to these kids all the time that everybody's not going to be able to score. Right. If you can rebound. If you can score. If you can shoot. If you can defend. 53 years old. I'm the same way. I played in the 50 and over tournament recently.
Okay.
Scored 4 points in the championship game. 4 points.
And y'all won.
And we won it because I told my team, I said, you know what? You guys are going to see a different me today because defensively, I'm going to give it to you guys, but I need somebody else to score these points because I'm not going to be able to do both. So I put it on my teammates.
Wow.
Was it that Tony McCoy? That was the Tony McCoy 50 and over?
50 and over, brother, that we Westside team won a championship in that thing, man. I swear it was rocking.
Hey, Liv, you got your old championship out of that too, don't you?
I know he does. So only the second time I ever played in a tournament, B. And I've heard about the tournament, seen it, never was a part of it because I didn't have the time.
Right.
I end up playing with some Westside guys that I had never been on a team with. Never. And we put this team together at the last minute and end up winning. And I took my same knowledge that I had when I was 20 years old to a 50 and over championship, to a tournament.
Right.
And I'm never gonna go the other way on that because that's what I believe in, that you if that's your role, man, you got to play it. If that's going to get you in that door, it's okay.
Yes.
You know what, Randy? I noticed an influx of West Side guys getting to the league playing D. You got Javon Carter,
Pat Bev.
Oh.
I mean, these guys are locking down. Like, okay.
What was the kid name that went to Crane that was locking up people?
That's Pat Bev, right?
Pat Bev or Javon Carter. Javon Carter went to Proviso East.
Went to Memphis.
Went to Memphis. Went to Crane. Oh, Tony Allen. Tony Allen.
Yeah.
But man, that's and people ask me about Patrick Beverly all the time. And I'm like, dude, I'm looking at myself. That was me.
That was you.
Me. I want to get on everybody's skin, and when the game is over, How could you be mad at Patrick Beverly?
Right.
And that was me, brother. So that's the message live and be I try to give to the kids. Like, man, you got to have a role. Everybody, if I came, just imagine if I came to the Bulls trying to score.
You'd have been up out of there.
I'd have been up out of
There
there.
wasn't enough balls.
What? I'd have been sitting next to Phil Jackson or behind him. Phil Jackson probably would have been like, you know what? Why don't you sit behind me today? He wouldn't even let me sit next to him if I tried to. D. Brittman, oh my God.
So you bringing them all out, Rambo. You bringing them all.
Liv, you bringing this ball up again. You bringing it up because I'm not bringing it up to D. Brittman. Oh my Alibaba.
That's right.
Do you know this dude, man, can wreck an open gym? He wrecks an open gym, man, by defending. This dude right here, man, will embarrass you. He's the reason, and I've never told him this. He's the reason, man, why I defend.
Wow.
I watched this dude, little, small, smart. He put fear in your heart with that basketball, man, the offensive player. And
Wow.
that's what I try to do. Incredible, D. Brett. Oh, man.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad we got you on there, man, to give him his roses. Get down with his
Liv,
roses.
Liv, I want everybody to eat. I will give up roses where it's due, brother. I love it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's who I am. I know
Alibaba.
man. A thief.
Yeah.
That's why they call him that.
Yeah.
Alibaba the 40 Thieves, huh?
Absolutely.
So Rambo, that was he was one of the guys. Name some of the guys you looked up to when you started playing basketball, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
Cool. I told you I live. You got me, brother. You got me here. So I live again. I'm from the west side of Chicago. I didn't grow up on the south side. And so I grew up around guys I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know of the Brian Leach. I played against Brian Leach.
Mm-hmm.
I know of him. I know of Tony McCoy's. And I'll tell you a story about Tim Hardaway later. J.J. Anderson. But the kids I grew up watching, man, when I was young, I remember Paul Bean.
Yes.
Paul Bean's the all-time leading scorer at my high school. And I remember watching this guy like, God, dog, when is he going to be in the NBA?
Right.
You know, I remember going to the playground and watching this team called Rhythm. You know, it was Paul Bean was on this team, and Kenny Slater, and you know, I remember Bill Foster, who got drafted by the Bulls back in the 80s. But the one guy a lot of people don't remember is Steve King. Steve King, I knew crossover before I even met Tim Hardaway. So Steve King is the one guy who would take me outside of the neighborhood to play basketball because, you know, if it wasn't across the street from my home, I wasn't going nowhere to hoop. And I remember Steve King took me to Margate Park, Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, they hooping at Margate Park. I'm gonna take you up here to play with these guys. These are some pros, some guys. I walk in there all cocky with my shoes. I see Ricky Green. I turn around. You expect me to play against Ricky Green? I think Ricky Green was playing for the Utah Jazz at the time.
Uh-huh.
I said, man, I'm not ready for this.
Right.
Man. So that's the first day I met Tim Hardaway. Knew him, knew who he was, had never met him in person, and I met Tim Hardaway that day. We're friends to this day. And Tim Hardaway, man, he was great for me. I didn't even know Tim Hardaway was endorsing me and didn't even know me.
Wow.
I had no idea that he endorsed me to the Sacramento Kings, and I probably had 2 conversations with him.
Wow.
No hating at all.
There was no hating, but Tim respected the fact that he and I had some fights.
Right.
He and I had some fights, man, because I was like, this is Tim Hardaway.
Right.
And I remember I was at New Mexico State when they played an exhibition game in El Paso when he was with the Warriors. And I just sat there in amazement, like, I know this guy. I personally know this guy. And I, like I said, I didn't even know this guy endorsed me, man. And it was because of competition, you know. So I give props, man, from the west side, the north, to the south. I don't care. I've been privy, man, to some special people. Rob Tate, like my family, played for Milwaukee, but Pig.
Yes.
I definitely can't forget about Pig, man. He watching him put on an NBA uniform, man, inspired so many people. And he doesn't even know that. Just watching this guy put on that uniform, man, inspired so many people, man. So my knowledge and love, man, stretches, man, from west to south side. I don't care. I think I can go in any neighborhood now.
Right.
Back in the day, B, I couldn't go, outside of the hood and play.
Couldn't go to the south side, right?
Big. I went to Collins High School. Manly High School was walking distance from my school, and I wouldn't go to the game unless my brothers were coming with me. Wouldn't go.
It was serious.
It was serious, brother.
Hey, look, I got to get ready to go, Randy. I want you and Liv to keep going, but I just want to throw something out. I want to say something. I'm going to say a name of a place, and you tell me what it means to you.
Okay.
It'll Mississippi.
That's where the family from, ain't it?
That's where the family's at, brother. Oh, my God.
I heard that, man. I heard your family was down there. Itty bitty.
If you close your eyes, you're gonna miss it.
Yeah, if you go, okay, yeah, that's right.
My oldest daughter is getting ready to move to New Orleans, and she was gonna drive to Mississippi and stop to see the family.
Wow.
My family, I swear to God, it was like a different world. Mississippi's a different world. There's no word. If you can't go to Mississippi, you can go to Mississippi right now and live and be like, I'm looking for Marcus Liberty. They're gonna be like, well, make a right at the store, make a left when you see the gas station. He might be in a 7-Eleven right now. That's what you're gonna get from
right.
That's what kind of people they are, man. It's I'm telling you, it's like a different world, brother. But that's where my parents are from.
Right.
Both of my parents, of course, migrated from Mississippi to Chicago.
Right.
And we still got family, man, that's rocking, man. And I remember just driving those 12-hour drives to Mississippi with my parents, man. They crazy times.
Yeah.
For sure, B. Thank you for that, B.
Meeting you, man. Liv, I gotta go, man. Y'all keep carrying. I gotta go do my yoga, man.
Yeah, do your yoga, brother. We need it. We need it, brother. Appreciate you, B.
All right, man. Nice meeting you, Randy B. All right, Liv.
Appreciate you, Liv.
Man, Bob got so many jobs, man.
That's good.
But I wanted to talk a little bit about your brother, man, your younger brother.
Yes, JB.
JB, bouncy, man.
Yeah.
I'm watching videos of him, man, going between his legs, dunking the basketball. Where did that come from?
You know what?
Is it Mississippi because y'all were running up hills? And
it was, but JB and I were born in Chicago, but all the older family, but they from Mississippi. But yeah, but for some reason, all the boys have all just been athletic, and we were so athletic, we suffered in other areas. We suffered in the shooting, the skill development, the ball handling. That stuff we lacked in. So we use our athletic ability to the best way we can, and that's where Jermaine picked up all of it. He was the baby in the family, and he got everybody's athleticism. From him, his days of being at Bradley and the University of Minnesota on to the Globetrotters, man, I give, just watching my brother perform with the Globetrotters was a sight to see. Even though that was a different brand of basketball, he took advantage of the situation. He became one of their dunkers. Until he got injured, man, and that was a special time in his life. And I always say that everybody has a different route to their professional careers, and his was different. He got a chance to tour the world and see some places that I'll never ever see.
Right. And a good dude, man.
Good kid for sure.
Yeah. And he's an artist too, right?
And the dude's a hell of an artist. He can sit there and draw me and you right now.
Wow.
Just picking up a pen or a pencil.
I talked to him many times, man.
Yeah.
So he told me how much he appreciated what I did for, because he was watching me as a shorty.
Yeah.
So he gave me my roses, man, and I appreciate that.
Good, brother. I do. I give you.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And Nick Anderson too. That's our buddy too, Nick Anderson. He just said the same thing that most of our family are from Mississippi. Everybody. My mom and dad from Mississippi. Nick said his mom and dad was from Mississippi.
Yeah.
So probably most of the Chicagoans are from either Memphis or Mississippi, Alabama.
It's funny, Lib, when my parents they told the story about when they left Mississippi, everybody was migrating to the Midwest for the auto industry. And we were on our way to Detroit. And my dad stopped in Chicago to see a cousin, and we never left.
Oh.
We were on our way to Michigan, and we never left the west side of Chicago.
Wow, that's crazy. Like we had Derek Coleman on here.
Okay.
And everybody's thinking Derek Coleman is Detroit.
Yeah.
He's like, man, no, Alabama's where I'm from, dog. Alabama. So we know most of us come from the South, man, and we migrate our way back up north and get into sports and start doing our thing, But but Rambo, man, I really, first of all, I'm gonna say I appreciate you coming on the show because what we trying to do, it ain't about hating on each other. It's about uplifting each other. It's about giving people a chance that may not even know who Randy Brown was. And man, now they hear you tell your story, and now this might open up doors for you to do other things, or you touch more kids. Because I hope our listeners share this with some of the kids, some of the coaches, especially the younger coaches that want to get involved in the game, man, by listening to you. Be on our show today. Man,
Lib, I thank you for having me, brother. We got to do this again. You can have me as long as you want, but I told you at the beginning of the show, I owe you a million apologies, brother. We spent some time together.
That's right.
That's going to be in my memory bank forever.
Yes, sir.
With me, you, and our man B in Phoenix.
That's right.
We spent some special times together, brother. And and your show, brother, is perfect because there's too much hating. There's too much hating in our basketball family.
That's right.
And there's no room in it for me. I'd rather go the other route, and that's why Lib, I think I survived the 25 years of being in the NBA.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm not working right now, but that's not an issue of mine.
Right.
Eventually, I'm going to go back to work. I've been in communication with a lot of people. I actually been doing this all on my own, of just reaching out to the people that I know, just talking to the people I know, and I just say if I can get the two people, through conversation, man, and I've done my job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For sure.
But before we go, you got to drop some jewels. You got to give some advice to a young up and coming, whether they're from the west side, south side, north side, New York, anywhere in the country. What kind of advice would you give a youngster how to go about if they want to get into this game of basketball?
This is easy for me, Liv, because I've said it enough. The time that these kids put on the basketball court is valuable. Get better. Work on your weaknesses. Keep getting better. That time you put on a basketball court, you got to open up that book. There's not a school that you can get into without an education. There's not a situation where you can get a great job without an education, because like I said, at some point, that ball is going to stop bouncing. And that education is going to be there. It's going to be there to help you get off that ground. I love everything about sports. I love competing. And those two things are really important to me. But the third thing I really take heart into, man, is the brotherhood of being on a team. Your teammates, your family, what are you going to do to help the next guy? What are you going to do to help your team win? Everybody eats if you win. Are you if you're the best player, are you going to be disrespectful to the 15th guy? Treat everybody the same. Treat everybody the same, brother. I'm telling you, it's okay to play a role. I've never seen a player not making it to the NBA because I'm trying to play my role. It just doesn't happen. If you play your role to the fullest, man, you give yourself an opportunity to wear that NBA uniform. I'm thinking that's why all the kids playing sports to potentially play professionally. And if you put in the hard work, you put in the time, you got to put in the right time, man, to being a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to deal with a coach an a-hole.
Right.
Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it today, man. So put in that time on that court, put in the time on that football field and that baseball field, and open up that book, man, and learn. Learn your history about the players that paved the way in front of you. I'll never forget that. I saw Mark Aguirre at a golf outing and kept hugging the guy because I just remember what Mark Aguirre putting in that DePaul uniform. And Liv, I don't think I ever told Kendall this, and I think I told you this. I didn't know how good I was going to be. I knew I'm looking at my peers in front of me. I wanted to go to University of Illinois so bad. Wow. Oh my God, I wanted to go so bad. But then I got smart, Liv. I'm like, you know what? I'm not good enough to go to University of Illinois. I need to work on my craft.
Right.
That was the ego in me that I had to let go. Like, you know what? Maybe you're not bound for UCLA or Duke. You got to find your own niche. You got to find your own path to doing something great, to accomplishing that goal, man. And I tried to do it the right way, Live, by treating people the right way. That's the only way I know how to do it, brother.
Mm-mm. I'm just listening to you, man. I listen to our, guests when they come on.
Yeah.
And what you're saying, man, is knowing who you are. A lot of times I think people try to be someone else.
Yeah.
You knew who you are. And I think that comes from your parents too.
Very true.
Making you understand, I know my mom and dad did the same thing to me. Don't worry about what they say. You be the best you can be, know. And that stuck with me. And it seems like your parents did the same thing to you and your brothers, your siblings, of how to take care of that. Brand yourself. That Brown name is a brand. And you got to go out there in public and represent us well.
You gotta.
You did a great job of doing that, Rambo.
Man, shout out to my parents. They did, brother. We came up in a tough neighborhood with nothing, and we learned to persevere. We learned to fight what we want for, and if we had to push and shove to get there to defend ourselves and stuff like that, man, we fought our way out of some difficult times. And like you said, I know times are different now. These parents want the best for their kids.
Yeah.
But it's also important, man, to preach the right message to these kids. Allow a coach to coach. Allow your kid to be a kid. Allow your kid to go through some trials and tribulations, and teach him the right way to talk to people. And that's another thing, Liv, that I should have mentioned, that you can curse a person out without even using a curse word.
Right.
That's part of communication.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of communication. I'm 53 years old playing in a 50 and over tournament, and all my teammates are looking at me like, Rambo, what you got for us? And I'm like, why are you guys looking at me? I don't have all the answers.
Right.
But at the time, they respected the fact that I was there, and you can curse a person out without using the language.
Right.
Get your point across the right way. And that's
respect. That's good. That's truly respect, man. Those guys respected you.
That's respectful conversation, brother. That's all it is.
Yes.
That's all it is, brother.
And we need to get back to that, man. We do.
Please.
We need to get back to that.
Please, we do, brother. It's a lost art.
And definitely, man, we might mess around and get your whole family on here, man.
That'd be crazy.
Had a whole crew come on here, man.
Crazy, man. That'd be crazy. I know Alan is he's still a sheriff.
Okay.
And every day he's putting his life on the line to, take care of our kids in the streets and stuff like that. So shout out to him, brother. He's doing some good things. So
yeah, shout out to the Brown family, man. Y'all keep doing your thing, man, and uplifting your communities and being safe, man. That's the most important thing that I can say to my Chicagoans. Make sure you be safe, but also make sure you tell your loved ones how much you love them.
Oh man, crazy times. We're in crazy times. That I was telling my wife the other day. what we're going through today is going to be in history books.
That's right.
You know, kids are going to be reading about this stuff real soon, and you know, you gotta take the time and cherish family, man. I'm telling you.
Look at Bobby Reed. Look. He in the car probably driving.
Some of your boy.
He's always working, man.
Man, that would be a sight to see. To get some of my great teammates on there, man, for sure, Liv.
Yeah, one thing I like about Bobby, man, the co-host, man, with me, is that, man, he don't care. He gonna email somebody, he gonna inbox him, he gonna get him. That's just who he is, man, and that's what I like. That's what I like about Bobby, man. He's
got a way about him, Liv, that he can walk in the room and have a conversation with anybody.
Yep.
That's huge. A lot of people can't do that.
No,
a lot of people can't do that.
And there's people out there hating on him too, man. And that's why I said we need to get away from that, man. You know, just because somebody's doing something and it may be just a little better, or maybe that's not for you right now.
Right.
You know, maybe you have to figure out things a little more, and then you'll reap the benefits of what you're supposed to have.
Yeah, you said it best, Liv. It's not too late for us to get away from that, brother. For so long we haven't given our roses to the guy who makes it before us. You know, because that's the competitive nature in us. That, hey, I'm better than him. How did he make it?
Right.
How about, you know, maybe he put in a different time. Maybe his time was right. Maybe your time is going to be tomorrow. That's one thing we got away from, brother, of giving our roses to the people that's made it before us, man. It's a lost art, brother, that we need to get back to, but it's not too late.
And give some shouts out to your Collins, you know, B-balls, man. I know you had, because I don't think you played with Steve Holland, did you?
Man, Houdini, Mister, Ice Lefty, Finger Roll. Oh my God. So my sister's older than me. She used to take me to Collins High School games, and I used to sit there and watch their games. I remember Steve Hollins finger roll from the free throw line. I'm like, who is this guy? The man, incredible talent.
My first time, Rambo, watching them was down at the pavilion.
Was at the pavilion.
Who was this dude, man, handling that ball like that?
This dude with all those handles with the finger roll.
Yeah.
Then you look up the Great Boss Hog. Oh my God. He Harris, you talking about competitive, trash talking, and then after the game is over, he still wants you to be his friend.
Right.
Boss Hog, man. Incredible. Rest in peace, my brother. Great dude.
I heard about this. Rest in peace.
Man, like I said, I've over the years, brother, Mike New, who was my teammate in high school.
Mike New he was right in my neighborhood. Yeah.
I knew my teammate at Collins, University of Houston, and New Mexico State.
Mm-hmm.
My teammate Walt Bond. Played for the Dallas Mavericks, my guy. Ty Bullock, who I played with 50 and over, my guy. I mean, it goes down the line, man, of the people who have touched me, man, over the years. And I know I'm forgetting some of my teammates, but I'm getting old. I'm sorry.
Right.
You guys
what about the big fella?
Bruce Faulkner?
Yeah, big Bruce.
Antonio Davis went to UNLV.
What is AD doing now?
You know what? One of our good friends just passed away, and I saw him on Facebook with my brother. And I haven't talked to him in a while, brother, but another talented dude went to UNLV from Collins High School, man.
Yes.
A lot of people don't even know that, don't even talk about that, man, for sure. This dude,
I gotta get him on, man. If you got a number on him,
gotta get my brother
on here.
For sure. Good dude, man.
Yeah,
Collins was like every other high school, man. We had some talent walking in the hallways that, you know, didn't have the grades or didn't want to play.
That shooter y'all had, Rambo.
Jump shot, Gerald Rowan.
Yep. There you go.
Jump shot, baby. How you get a name, Jump Shot?
Right.
Jump shot,
he was smooth. He had a smooth stroke, man. I remember that.
Jump shot, Gerald Rowan, and we had another brother, Keith Bullock.
Yep.
Who was a good shooter. Man, I remember. I'm like, how he get a name? Jump shot, dude was just smooth. He would not 17 feet in, he ain't missing.
That's right. I remember.
He would not miss, man. So, like I said, I remember those high school days, Liv. I can't even sit here and say I was the best player on my high school team because there was so much talent around us, you know.
But think about this, Randy, what you're saying. You saying you wasn't even the best. This is a perfect example of what we just talked about, what the show was really about.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best player on the team to make it and be successful.
I'm telling you, I wasn't the best, but I can look anybody in their eyes and their face as a man and say, "You're better than me, but you're not gonna outwork me." You know, Reggie Jordan, my teammate in Mexico State. We had this conversation and we laughed about it. I used to look at this dude like, how he's not gonna play in the NBA.
Right.
He had a great career. He played for the Lakers and all this stuff. I wasn't even the best player on my college team. And I have no ego and I have no problem saying that.
Right.
I've been saying it for years. I've been telling kids that for years. You do not have to be the best. You got to be a worker.
Yeah.
That's why I stood out from many live, because I put in the work and said, you know what, he's better than me, but I got to find a way to outwork him. And that's how I made it.
Man, shout out to Chicago. Shout out to Collins High School. We got a legend, Randy Rambo, on the show today. Brother. If you guys missed it, make sure you rewind this, man, because this was a great one, man. And Randy, as always, I appreciate you, my brother.
Man, legend. You put legend in front of my name, brother. God, dog. That means a lot,
man. That's how I roll, man. I know. I'm gonna give you a roses while you're still here, my brother.
I know, brother, and I personally, you know how I feel about you, and I've told you that.
No doubt.
It shouldn't have been this long. I should have been on your show a long time ago, but
yeah, but we got you. So
you got me, brother, and I'm not going nowhere. We can do it again.
No, let's do it. Let's do it, man. Anytime you want to come on, especially when you get that coaching job, man, I need you to come back on there and talk about it.
I will be on that, brother, so I can give out some more roses for that as well.
Right. That's right, man. All right, man. So we're gonna wrap it up, man, with this one, man, and make sure you tell your wife to thank her for letting you come on our show, man, because you've been on here for an hour, 2 hours.
I got to thank The Rock, man. She's a good girl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I got to thank her for sure.
All right, my man,
my brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks for tuning in. It's All Boss Chicago, and we out.
Welcome to All Ball. Format unique, all access for all y'all. What the spiel like? Pack full of elite athletes that wanna teach and it speaks to the streets, so it feel right. Marcus Liberty, a legend on and off the court to give you what you need. Robert Reed is your co-host. Go. Like and subscribe and follow like a cross